So, today we're going to talk about self-acceptance and also self-compassion. And this be by the Psychology Today website. And as always, the link is going to be down in the description. So if you want to check it out, please check it out. It is 7 a.m. So fairly early in the morning. I try to not be too loud, but I also try to speak clearly and don't whisper, because this is a fucking deal breaker. So yeah, this article is by Danielle turmaud, MS and CZ, Lifting the Veil on Trauma. The benefits of self-acceptance and self-compassion. Sometimes you need a reminder that you are okay just as you are. So here it is, you are enough as you are today. Does this negate your goals and plans for growth and change? Of course not. Does this detract from the suffering, pain, or trauma of your past that weighs on you? Absolutely not. What phrases like this do is give you permission to meet yourself where you are with love, acceptance, empathy, and compassion as you continue to work towards your goals. And I want to point out, I am in a place that's not pretty amazing, to be honest. And a lot of these things that I'm going through and willing to go through are mainly for me to try to get out of this rut. It's been quite difficult, even though I do think that I could have done a better job, and I obviously should have done things differently. And in retrospect, it's always going to be the case. It's always going to be like, wow, I could have done this, I could have done that. I should not have done this, I should not have done that. But I made decisions, and I now have to live with them. And the thing that I'm seeing is that, I can live with them in a way of being sad all day long. But I could also just be having this peace in my mind. I could also be fine with everything. And I'm trying to do that. And speaking about these things tremendously helps me. But yeah, so if you are in a bad place as well, or at least not optimal space, let's put it like this, because also being too negative about that seems to be not that smart, to be honest. Remember that it's the same for me as well. Remember that you're not the only one. Remember that everything is gonna solve itself. Of course, some things take more time, and of course, some things are more difficult than other things, which I have also clearly noticed. And I tremendously feel with those people that are having to deal with fucking deep depression. Even worse than I have to deal with. It is fucked up. It really is. It is so much pain. It is so many thoughts. It's so much, uncertainty and every other negative feeling that one can fucking imagine. Maybe this is gonna be my goal for the next few weeks. Going through articles and things on the psychology to help you and help myself in the end as well. Because I know that there is enough people that are having to deal with shit. It's not amazing. Definitely not amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna go on reading. Perhaps that phrase sounded odd. Perhaps reading it felt uncomfortable or foreign, as you have navigated through a world that has told you that you're not enough. In a society that is driven by growth, change, and success, it might feel peculiar to consider taking time out of your day to practice self-acceptance and compassion. It might even feel scary, as it might feel as though we are betraying our goals if we take the time to accept where we are now. Yet, taking a moment to provide self-compassion and self-acceptance for where we are and what we're struggling with can work wonders in motivating us for future growth and equipping us for recovery and healing from the past. Instead of staying on a spinning hamster wheel of thinking about all the things we want to change about ourselves, taking a moment to acknowledge ourselves can rejuvenate us in meaningful ways. In fact, self-acceptance has been recognized by several religious spiritualities, psychological theories, and therapies as a catalyst for the elevation of emotional misery, as well as an energizer supporting growth towards happiness and fulfillment. Bernard, 2013, page 13. Why ever you're doing this in Roman letters, but anyway. Self-acceptance is not easy, as it involves us accepting ourselves where we are, with all of our strengths, weaknesses, and growth areas. Bernard, 2013. This involves stopping our self-criticism and working to solve all of the defects of oneself, and then accepting them to be existing within oneself, that is, tolerating oneself to be imperfect in some parts. Some might hear this and think that taking the time to work towards self-acceptance is not as important as working towards one's goals or trying to alleviate one's suffering. Yet several research studies find that self-acceptance and self-compassion support psychological health, well-being, and coping. Bluff, 2018. Perhaps if we spend time working on showing ourselves the compassion and acceptance we need, we will be able to better work towards our goals and continue to ride the waves of challenge or suffering that we may face in life. In fact, many of the great psychology and therapy figures in history, like Carl Rogers, believe that an important aspect of people reaching their full potential and improving well-being involves participating in self-acceptance and self-compassion. Bernard, 2013, and Rogers, 1951. Discussing self-acceptance and self-compassion might sound great in theory, but feel elusive as we can find ourselves acclimated to living with a loud inner critic. As with any growth or change, taking small steps forward can sometimes be the greatest step we can take for ourselves. Some things that we might do today to practice self-acceptance and self-compassion might include. And now we're having a few things. Say affirming phrases to ourselves. Some examples might include, I see you right where you are today. It is okay to be experiencing the emotions, challenges, suffering that you are today. I am proud of you for insert here. I recognize and acknowledge your challenges and suffering today. I am with you. I believe in you. You're worth it. Write affirming phrases to ourselves that can be read later to offer ongoing encouragement and support. See some examples in a bullet point above. Take a moment to celebrate recent areas of growth or accomplishments despite challenges that one has faced. These areas to celebrate can be small or big. All that matters is that you take the time to celebrate your victories despite your challenges or suffering. All victories and growth deserve to be honored. Take a moment to journal about what we are feeling without judgment or criticism, to give ourselves permission to meet ourselves where we are. Participate in self-acceptance or self-compassion, meditations or mindfulness activities. See selfcompassion.org for further resources on this. So today, even if for a moment, let's pause and meet ourselves where we are with love, compassion, curiosity, and empathy. As we journey through this life and practice self-acceptance and self-compassion, we remember that well-being is a process, not a destination. Which I deeply believe in, that it is not. Well, it is a goal, but there is a really fucking big process, especially if you think about all the things that happen in one's life. I don't know, it just makes sense that it all takes time and it all takes, reoccurring practice. Of course you can practice it once, but if then something happens, then you probably have to work on it once again. And, maybe this is what life is, but yeah, I do want to say that this all follows and then goes into the whole thing of taking life way too serious, at least at my point of view. Of course, it is serious. Of course, you're only having one life, but regarding all these negative things, breakups that one goes through, pain that one goes through, when it is psychological, not physiological. I don't know, like, what about just not being too serious about all these things? I mean, it sounds dumb, and it sounds so, not very empathetic, I would say, as well, because there's way more to the whole experience, to the whole thing, than just being a bit happy and just thinking about it a bit more and just whatever. But I don't know, like, I might have gone through some hardship, but being realistic and knowing where I am and understanding that, as also the article I think is talking about, really does make sense. I mean, I do have quite something, and I've accomplished quite something. I mean, there's quite some things that I have to work on, and there's quite some things that I have to keep in mind, and I have to think about from now on. And I don't know, like, why should I make my life more difficult than it already is? By staying in such a place. Like, why? There is no benefit to it. And I know that. And subconsciously also know that. Like, why? Okay, I went through that breakup. Yes, it hurts. Yes, I did. Or made dumb decisions, but in the end, still having my friends, still having my buddies, still having my hobbies, still having the podcast, still working on that. But I'm not really, especially when it comes to the podcast and everything that I'm doing around that, I don't really believe, or I don't really tell myself that it is something that's cool and great and whatnot, I'm seeing it as just something that I do, nothing more and nothing less. But yeah, this might be wrong, and just because I'm talking about all the things that I am fearful of, I'm fearing the next year as actually every year, because I'm always trying to make things better and as the last year. But I think that is naturally just going to be the case. I mean, with the whole COVID shit, it's just going to be better than last year anyway, no matter what I fucking do. Unless I die, of course, but I don't assume that this is going to happen. And I'm also fearing my birthday. I don't like special days. I hate, hating might be a bit too much, but I just really dislike them. I also dislike Christmas, as I have also noticed. But I just don't like them because maybe, I guess this is some assumptions that I'm having. I don't like when things go off schedule, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't like that. I don't know, maybe I'm just way too much in a space of, everything is so planned, and I know what's gonna happen. Like, there's no surprises, and I know that we as human beings like the I don't remember the word right now, but the certainty, of course, the certainty of certainty. We like certainty. But yeah, I don't know. It's not really about the age, even though I'm turning 20, which is quite something, to be honest. But I don't know. Like, I just don't want this day to happen quite, because I don't know why. I just don't want it to be there. As funny as it is. But yeah, I think that I'm gonna end the episode. I think that I've been recording for quite some time now. I don't know how long. Well, 15 minutes, it's quite fine. Yeah, gonna see you the next time. Wish you the best. Please take care of yourself, your family members, and all of your loved ones. And remember, three questions that I want to give you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you a purpose, maybe even a business idea, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. And yeah, also remember the fact that we all can do something to make somebody's life better, which doesn't mean that we should, I don't know, make ourselves a slave of other people's well-being, if that makes sense. I think it does. But yeah, see you soon.